Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I am Jeremy and this is John, and today in this video we're going to be discussing the brand new Eastman MD300 series with the electronics. It's like the MD315E Sunburst package. All kinds of cool new stuff in this model, and we can't wait to tell you about it in this video. We're going to play it, we're going to give you the specs, we're going to tell you if you need to have it and how many of them you need. So stick with us. Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe, and make sure you comment down below what you think of me and my mustache.
Bring the thumbs up, the thumbs down for the mustache.
Guys, all the thumbs are about the mustache. John, what did you see inside there?
Well, this mandolin has an extra hole in it. I don't know why. It's weird.
It's for this right here, guys. A new thing came out there. They announced these at the NAMM show.
You want to say summer NAMM, you want to say winter NAMM. It wasn't either. It was the
2023 NAMM. And yes, this was like the new thing from Eastman. You guys, anybody that's followed the channel for a while or followed me at all knows that I'm a big fan of the 300 series.
Following you, Jeremy.
I get followed all the time. Dark alleys, all that stuff. But virtually, if you've been following me as well, I'm a big fan of the 300 series from Eastman. Yes. Still a hand-carved back and top on this mandolin, hand voiced. They sound great. They are very affordable, and they just do the right job, especially for somebody just getting that first mandolin that wants a very well set up instrument that's easy to play and gives you a lot of tone.
Best value for the money by far, the 300 series, and now it's upgraded to be stage ready. And I think this is actually a big upgrade for Eastman because it's not just for the beginner player. A lot of people who have been looking at the 300 series are not just beginners. They're also pro players that mandolin's not their main instrument.
Yeah, exactly. So, and there's a lot of guitar players that are like, oh, I saw this in a country band. I guess I'll play one on stage.
Well, because it's simple. It's so
So rather than break the bank and buy a really high-level stage-ready instrument.
Mandolins aren't cheap, by the way.
They're not expensive because they are hand-carved. So this is filling a really cool void there for it's got a pickup installed in it. We'll go over the specs, I guess, real quickly to show you what is standard with the MD300 series and then what's new in this new MD315E and 305E series. Sunburst. So, yes, with the SBs, thank you. The 300 series is still a Sitka spruce top with a maple back and sides, all, like I said, hand-carved, hand-voiced, which, for you guys unfamiliar to this, which I'm sure people in this level are maybe newer to the mandolin, may not know, each top is treated as an individual piece of wood. So they carve them to kind of a close approximation where they think it's going to be, and then they graduate the top by toning it. They hold that top up and kind of tap it with their finger and try to get a very resonant, even across the whole thing. And each piece of wood's gonna be different. You gotta have some pieces that are real dense, so you can carve those a little bit thinner and still get all that resonance. And some are gonna be kind of softer, so you gotta be a little bit thicker on those to get that same resonant frequency. Absolutely. And not have the top collapse on them. Mm-hmm. That's why I like this series so much, is they still treat each one like a unique piece of wood, and consistency throughout the bar. We've had hundreds, if not thousands, of these come through the shop in our history, and consistency's been top of the line on them.
So, Jared, let's go through some of these specs here on this.
We've talked a little bit about it, but let's go through from the top to bottom. Starting with sale price, the difference between the standard
A-style and the F-style.
The difference between the standard 315 and 305, not a big upgrade. So the A-style is going to be at a $799 street price, with the F-style right at $1085, $86, $87, somewhere right in there, $99. So not a huge price increase. It comes in the A-style, F-style, as well as the oval hole and F-hole iterations. Mm-hmm. It does have a solid spruce top, a maple back and sides, as well as a maple neck. At least on the prototypes, it looks like it's going to be a three-piece neck. So we'll see if that sticks with the final release. Mm-hmm. It does have the ivoroid binding on the top only. Mm-hmm. Still very attractive. Ebony bridge and fretboard, and a radius fretboard on this, like you mentioned. It does have a single action truss rod and a bone nut standard on all these. The tuners on them are the Pro Line J105s, so just to get a standard kind of entry-level tuner. Mm-hmm. Bracing tone bar on these, and it does have a satin finish, just that warm, soft look to it. Case-wise, it comes with a nice padded gig bag.
Which is actually a really good add-on to have, is a nice gig bag to go along with.
Yeah, they're quality ones, and I have one of the 305s that I carry around with me on a lot of different places. The nut width on these is a 1 3/32.
So a little bit bigger than the Gibson, but still not considered a wide nut.
Yeah. And then it does have the scale length of 13 7/8, and this has the K&K duotone, duotone, duotone pickup installed on. Slightly smaller transducer than their standard
Mandolin twin.
internal. So very cool mandolin. I'm very excited to have it. Who is this instrument for? I think we've covered that pretty well. If you're a beginner player that wants to have the ability to plug it into an amp, if you want to play in church, we didn't mention that. That'd be a great instrument to have on the stage because a lot of those churches, to avoid feedback, they love a pickup. If you're a guitar player in a band, but you want to be able to switch over and play mandolin a few times, but you're not going to go out and buy a $5,000 to $8,000 mandolin, such a great option there.
To me, I think this really covers two major camps right here that absolutely just nails. Like you said, beginner wants to have something that is a little more future-proof, has that, and also likes the look. Price point's good, got a major upgrade, and like you said, the second side is somebody who wants a great quality instrument, but doesn't play it all the time, and but needs it to be stage ready and ready to go. So
yeah, it covers quite a few different options for people, and they don't have to be beginners because, like we mentioned, a really good sounding and playing instrument just at that lower price point, so you can still be a pro player, and I think this is going to really fill that need for you.
Absolutely.
So how does the instrument sound? We've done some videos on 315. They're still open.
In this price point, there is nothing that sounds as good as the 300 series. You always recommend it. It's your most recommended mandolin for students. There's not much in this price point that's going to beat this, and we have covered all of them. So
I think tonally they just maybe because of the satin finish and also that they're not really spending as much time as they would on a high-end build, a boutique build. They tend to be a little deep and dark tone. They have like a real woody full tone, which I think most mandolin players are looking for. The thing they may be lacking a little bit, maybe this is one of the things that it doesn't have going for it, is just that pristine tone across the entire spectrum. They're a little mid-range and bass heavy compared to maybe a higher-end build. There you go. But still very even tone, full all the way across, a little bit skewed toward that darker tone.
If you were to compare it to anything, I guess this kind of falls in the mid-range of the lower series. Kentucky has their series, and we've done a video that compared those as well. Again, I still think that we're stepping up a little bit more, but if I was looking at one, those would probably be the most comparable options here. Now, with this sunburst, it really looks a lot more like those mandolins. But again, I just think we're stepping up a little bit more.
And I think when we bring up those ones that does, I think you're right that it kind of fits in that same line as their mid-range ones. The problem I always had with students is I can't recommend a model and know that everyone's going to be that way. I would have to play each one of those because some of them sound really good, and we're talking both Kentucky and lures, and some of them can be complete dogs, and that's because they're really treating each piece of wood uniform no matter what the piece of wood is. So some of them it turns out perfect, and some of them it's just too dense and has no tone at all. So that's why I really like these. I can just recommend a model and know that consistency across the board is going to be way up there.
Yep, absolutely.
So now we're going to rate them, John. I'll get your opinion, but give mine as well. Tone overall, between 1 to 5, what would you rate this? And this is, again, in like level, so we're not going to compare this to a Gibson or a high-end $8,000 instrument.
We're talking instruments that fall under
$1,000.
Under $1,000, especially in the A styles, under that 800 price point with a pickup in it. The 300 series is my favorite. That said, it's still got some room for improvement. It can be better. I'm going to give it a 4, a solid 4.
I would agree with you. I think, what I mentioned earlier, they sound great. They're not going to hold a player back. Even if you're a pro player, they have a really good tone to them. They're not comparable to a real high-end one. Again, we're going to stay in the same category. But still, I think about a 4 is where I would recommend or rate this.
Setup and playability.
I think they knock it out of the park in this price range. One of the biggest problems with other brands is setup can be so wishy-washy, and some of them are set up so high, especially on that first fret with that nut. They set them really high so they don't get buzzing, but then a beginner player cannot push those strings down. So I would give this a 4.5 on setup.
I agree. I was going to go with a 4.5 on this as well. Build quality, again, they're doing a really good job.
Even that satin finish, I mean, it looks gorgeous. And it's not. it's not as expensive a finish as a gloss finish, but you can still do it poorly, and I think they really nail that finish. It looks
Use
very
a
nice.
good quality pickup in the K&K. Build quality is going to get a 4.5 as well for me.
Me as well.
There you go.
We're in agreement.
That's
more,
right.
more than we realize.
The looks. Now, this is one that I was really surprised with. I really thought I wasn't going to like the sunburst. I still probably prefer it. But what was really funny about this burst was we were looking at this compared to the F9s that we had, and you had that one in your hand.
You
and
thought
from
I
a
was
distance, I thought you were holding an F9. So it is a slightly more red burst than what they had, but it's very comparable. Looks wise, I'm gonna have to go with a 5 on this.
I was gonna. Dang it, John! I should went first. No, I'm gonna go with the same because they actually did the burst on the sides of the mandolin or on the scroll. They did a really attractive thing. On the neck, that burst on there looks great too. I prefer the burst because maybe I come from a little bit more traditional background. A lot of people love just that standard 315 finish, but I think I like this burst a lot. I'm gonna give it a 5 as well.
Sounds good. All right, last thing, does it pass the Shoppe Sustainable? Again, Eastman has been known to source their woods from very reputable sources. We have found them to do that. They're definitely working towards that major goal, and most every product that we've had has been able to pass our Shoppe Sustainable. So yes, this one will fall in the Shoppe Sustainable category.
And we will plant a tree
That's right.
for everyone that we sell.
That's right. Overall value, guys, this is where I'm going to give it an absolute
10.
5. This is a absolutely great value, especially if you're needing one with a pickup. If you don't need one with a pickup, don't buy this one. Buy the standard ones. But if you think that this is something that you may need in the near future, adding the pickup in there alone, I think that is a great value. And they did it at a not crazy add-on.
Yeah, they could have added a lot more to the cost of it just by doing the burst and the pickup, and they didn't. They kept it really very reasonable. Honestly, it would cost more for us to install a pickup into your standard 300 series than it would to get this entire new mandolin with it installed. So definitely, I think it gets a 5 out of my ranking as well. So a very good overall value, a nice instrument, something I'm very pleased that they finally went back and looked at the 300 series and came out with these new improvements or just a little variation to people looking for them.
Yeah.
Well, John, personally, I think they knocked it out of the park.
It's a very great mandolin.
Some great upgrades for people that have been asking for pickup and sunburst on the 300 series. If you guys would like to see a comparison, we talked about the F9, how similar they kind of look in appearance. We did a comparison video with the standard MD315. That was before they had the pickup and the sunburst versus Gibson's F9. I thought the comparison was pretty interesting. What is the lowest priced Eastman versus the lowest priced Gibson? You guys leave your thoughts in it, but I thought pretty pleasantly surprised in that. We got a link to that video right here if you guys want to check that out. And like always, please like and subscribe and share this with other people. We love having you to be a part of our community and can't wait to see you next time.